Hello and welcome to the event that has been on the horizon for a while. Sins of Sinister issue 1. Although I think it's just this, and then there's all the little issues that spin off, and I'm sure they throw in a Sins of Sinister Omega or whatever that ends it. So anyway, to begin the story, we find out how Sinister did it. How did he pull the strings? Well, 10 years ago, he created eggs himself, etc. Here, like this, to be my muse, as he called them, and he sent them off into the world in secret. Now it's not clear who is a who, or what is a what, and who is Sinister. But we know that there's a snake in the garden. So, this is off the back of Immortal X-Men prelude, which finished with Sinister being sent to the mists off the ground and Professor Xavier taking off his helmet and showing us that he was Sinister. Anyway, part 1. Everything is Sinister, written by Kieron Gillen. Lucas Werneck is the artist, as well as multiple other great artists that I'm not even going to say all the names. We got Brian Valenza on the colors, Feces Clay and Cals on the letters, and Jay Bowen on design, and, there we go. So, yeah, lots of different artists throughout this book. I'm not sure where they pop up and where the art changes, I'm being honest with you. So, anyway, Sinister is sucked in the ground. And we get the bit where Professor Sinister is looking at himself, etc. And it's then the White Queen reveals herself, so she doesn't discover that Professor Xavier. She's one of them. We learn very, very quickly, and they talk about how they have to cover these spots, and it makes sense that he chose psychics. So Professor Xavier, who could mask the jewel, White Queen, obviously, Exodus, another one, and Hope. And it all starts to make sense about, if I went back and read Immortal X-Men now, you would see when disagreements and stuff were happening, but really they were playing to this a bigger, wider game of Sinister. So Sinister may be gone, but this being gone has created this opportunity that is about to arise. So first of all, they put on a good show at the council about sharing immortality with the humans, and then some disagree, some really disagree, and then Hope just, says, well, if I say we should do it, do you agree? And then it's sort of agreed, etc. So they all play their parts. Also note, Destiny and Mystique are all of a sudden missing from the council. So that could be the fact that Destiny knows what's coming, and that's why she's gone into hiding with Mystique. We also know that there is, at some point in the future, perhaps a point where Mystique dies. So, very, very convenient. So their ranks are thinned, and Professor Xavier says, maybe they realize that actually, if you're not reformed before coming in here, you're not gonna make it. This is for good guys. This is about a new era. So the plan is quite simple. They're going to bring humans into immortality. But how do they do it? How can they do it? With the likes of Forge doing what Sinister does, and the Cuckoos taking the imprints, etc. So there is a sort of plan here. I love the fact that Kitty Pryde sort of doesn't... she sort of sees a little bit that this doesn't seem right. So she says, Forge plan understudy for Sinister. Yeah, that's a big step up. And the Cuckoos being a lot of glorified flying clogs. And she says it doesn't sound like something they'd be interested in. And then obviously Emma says, well, you know what? We will change their minds. In other words, they'll be manipulated like everybody else. So the council is completely corrupted. It has been taken from the inside out. Now we are going to start seeing the downfall of Krakoa. Now, great thing is, we got Ben Urich back in the next title. I'm really pleased, actually. I really enjoyed Ben in X-Men. I felt like I wanted more of that with Jerry Dugan. Now, he's been beaten up. I'm not sure if that's in the next title and I've missed it. However, he's come to see Jonah. He wants to share some information with Jonah. However, he says, don't talk so much. And he uses this device to see if Jonah has taken this mutant DNA that the mutants have been given to humans, which will allow them to have immortality. But really what it is, it has a sort of a code in it that at some point it will take over your DNA, etc., which is great. So now that he's relieved, he talks through these things, etc., and opens up, etc. However, he soon realizes that that was a mistake, and he says, we gave you a fake sort of test so that you would come out in the open, etc. So continues the downfall with Sinister and the humans. So next step is Forge, the understudy. He has created a device with a Sinister little grin there that will take Krakoa out of their thing, turn it into an vegetable. So they literally take out Krakoa. Krakoa is pretty much brain dead, so to speak. And then they can start doing the real damage. The real damage starting with Sinister Wolverine killing young Doug there, unfortunately. He's a casualty of this. And you can start seeing how they are going to start manipulating the world into change. And so Emma Frost sends out a message saying that Orchis has attacked Krakoa, and as such they have killed the Living Island and wiped the banks of psychic imprints, which means that they will not be able to bring them back to life via Cerebro, and we will avenge you, so to speak. So they almost entice other superheroes to come in, fight Orchis, and push them right back and almost defeat them. Some have obviously escaped, etc. And it leaves this other moment where Scott asks Captain America to join them in terms of having this gene and becoming a mutant and, living for a long time. This is a longer game that Sinister is now creating for the world. And you can see where this is leading to. It's like the Master in Doctor Who, where he uses a machine to manipulate them into changing all into him. So this is where we're going. So Sinister is back. However, there is still a lot to do. And he is going to be sat in the background watching. But he is very happy with his chum's handiwork. And it all seems to be going well. So we start learning how Sinister started to do these things. So what happened was when he was asked to give his genetic material to Xavier, Moira, and Magneto, he was, yes, but he added in a piece of him so that he could create this Sinister universe of his. The only problem was whenever something would come alive, it wouldn't work. So hence why we had a period of time where Sinister didn't just take over. This took a period of time, and what it was Hope, unknowingly, would correct it. So he had to manipulate things around the council to eventually manipulate her. And then the X-Men, well, there he's. Let's get the popcorn out. So, first of all, he has to take out some of the threats that would threaten this Sinister world. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying Sinister world because that's what he's trying to create. So, first of all, there is a thing around Juggernaut being used as a sort of bullet via Hope borrowing Domino's powers and his brain spatter being splattered across the thing. I felt like at this point in time when I was reading it, I felt like that was a big step, taking out Thanos, one of the biggest threats to the universe. Next was Doom. So Doom tried to rope in Namor to go against Krakoa because they've had allegiances before, if I remember correctly. Was it the war with Wakanda, or was it against? I can't remember. Anyway, so but Namor kills him. It's obvious. You can see it there. and they replace him with a Doombot. However, another Doombot got away and is apparently working with Vortex, so that will be interesting. Next was the Eternals. So what they did, they released Uranus for an hour, and he went and pretty much wiped them all out. One of the most biggest concerns for Sinister was Mr. Fantastic, who, probably being the smartest man on Earth, shielded him, made things so that he can be manipulated with mutant DNA, or when this was being rolled out. However, Ben Grimm was easily manipulated. But once he was, the only thing he wanted to do was to go and experience another cosmic event, and as such, well, they were all freed off their powers, and that allowed Ben to, well, you can see it, choke the life out of Mr. Fantastic. The next is the Avengers. So where some of them did accept it, they ended up being manipulated to go kill the president. Now, I do like the fact that Rogue is fighting Carol Danvers there. I feel like it would have been, maybe a couple of panels would have been pretty cool there. So they stop, well, the president's dead, but they do save the day in some respects. And they are hailed Earth's mightiest heroes, which is pretty cool. Okay, now let's get down to business. Storm is the only one out of the council that hasn't been manipulated by Sinister. She has managed to get out of it, and she wants to talk to him about the things that are dark, because there's a lot of dark in the background. You can see it there. Some of the things that have been happening are pretty dark to get to this point where X-Men are probably one of the biggest superheroes out there left. So Avengers gone, Fantastic Four gone, it's just them. And the biggest thing that is obvious is this is an imposter. Where's my friend? So Kirk, you know, she knows her friend. You know, they've been friends for a very long time. And Sinister just comes out and says, yeah, that's not your friend. Here's your friend. He's in here. You know, do you want him here, or do you want the person that I put there? I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure how this has actually happened, unless it happened in one of the books that I didn't read that sort of lead up to the story. So I'm not sure when this happened. And Storm says, you're in the pit, you know, what's going on? And then he says, you've got me, or rather, you've got us. And that's when she realizes that they're all Sinister. So Storm was the only one, because she deleted herself from the resurrected protocols, was the only one that they couldn't kill and bring on board on the council. And they couldn't brainwash her, because that would be too obvious. She's very strong-willed in that, after some of the things she's gone through. So that would be tempering. And Professor Xavier, I love this. He says, Midland is ugly and disrespectful. I prefer teaching, but it's sadly not a school one ever gets to graduate from. So I do like that bit. That's a very nice touch, keeping some of Xavier's personality in there. So, what does she do? She goes on the offensive to fight. And she Sinister, she calls Sinister Abomination. Which is awesome. Now, Destiny and Mystique turn up. Well, once again, Storm goes to say, how did you... Oh, of course, that makes sense. So, Storm is told, you cannot win. We've got to retreat. We got to be on the same side. So, they've gone off. And and I love this quote here, where Sinister says, this accelerates our plans. And he was bored of lurking in the shadows. This isn't the 1990s where he does lurk in the shadows and just pop out and do stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool. So they vote for it and they agree. So next up is Shore is in charge of the Hell. However, every time he goes there, he dies. But that gives them control of that dimension. then using that dimension of relationships, they are then able to get a hold of a certain sword, and Magic is able to go to Asgard and destroy them. I love this next page. Nope, wait a minute. I love this next page. No more Wanda. Just in case. Brilliant. Absolute brilliant. Then they're back at school, so they create a school, and students can choose 2 genes. So you can see a sort of a beast and a colossus, a Wolverine and a beast, an angel, and yeah. So the only problem with that is the process creates a lot of pollution, which affects certain parts of the country, etc. And then, so with Storm hiding on Arico, aka Mars, Sinister sends his laser eyeballs and Sinisters all after to take him out. So they do a lot of damage. They do destroy it, but Storm's body is never found. Meanwhile, on Earth, after so this is 10 years later. So on Earth, we've got somebody trying to stand up and say we're being poisoned, etc. However, it is people queuing up to be mind controlled. That's what they're doing. So and Foggy just gets taken away by Spider-Man to, well, you know, who knows? Maybe we'll find out in I think it's Nightcrawlers is going to be this one. In fact, I think they all interlink. I'm not entirely sure. So anyway, they decide next to have the diamonds on show at all time. There is raising concerns about a space war. So those out in the universe coming out to attack them. And once again, Storm is mentioned to still be alive. Now, the next bit is really cool. So they don't all necessarily start agreeing on things. There is still a big part of personality in these folks that they still don't just agree to things. So they wanted to vote on what they do next, etc. And they disagree. They want to go to do this space war thing because it's about protecting children, giving the dream, no war, you know, crusades, all that good stuff. I think I've read that correctly. I may have forgot, so I apologize if I've just made a mistake. I feel like I got it right. So he's annoyed because his plan was to wipe them out at some point. And he's a bit irritated by this. However, when he goes to teleport, some of the others have done it. So yeah, so that's all happened. I'm sorry, I've lost my little train of thought there. I thought I had it all. Another bit which I wanted to mention was around the Moiras. Moira's a big part of what Sinister's doing. Her being able to reset time allowed Sinister to sneak in with these little things, etc., because she was resetting time, and that gave Sinister time to manipulate things, etc. That's if he remembered that, because let's be honest, they don't usually remember when things reset. So, but he's found a way to remember. I mean, we saw in IMMORTAL X-MEN 9, where he kept trying to kill the council, etc. You know, he kept being able to go back. So he ends up back on, to number 1. I thought, sorry, New Mutants has been a thing that I've been thinking about because they've had such a good run that I was thinking, well, they've probably got enough material for an omnibus. And now they've just jumped to number 1, unless that's just like a mini-series. Hey-ho. Anyway, so he gets to Mirror Island, and he uses some avalanche powers to get down to the crust because he can't teleport, he can't just go there, etc. And lo and behold, he's lost all his power. The other Sinisters have outdone him. The lab is gone. The Moiras are gone. He's trapped. He cannot change anything now. So Sinister Alpha is been done over, so to speak, which is great. I think it's great, and I'm looking forward to reading these individuals. Sometimes when I read a big book, this is a big issue because it's like the alpha issue. it's a lot to try and take in, and there are bits in there that I do apologize for that. I felt that maybe I got slightly wrong, and I lost my train of thought at one point, so I apologize for that. I do like to be smoothing through these. Sometimes it doesn't work. So, Sins of Sinister is the first book. Then Year 10, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants, Nightcrawlers, IMMORTAL X-MEN. I've got all of those on pre-order, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel, watching, so you can review them. It's got this little bit here: 125, 28, 215, 222. Oh, that's, do you know what? I feel like such a moron. That's the date they're being released. I thought it was important. Year 100 is Nightcrawlers 2, IMMORTAL X-Men, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants 2. Year 1000, once again, and it's those 3 books and issue 3, and then it ends with Sins of Sinister Domina 1. So it's not a massive event if you think about it. So, but I just hope it's fast paced, good story, good action, good character growth, and then we can all live happily ever after. So anyway, hope you like my video. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. Thank you to those that are always subscribed. Do appreciate you folks a lot. And as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.